week 6 video 4. I just recorded this and I was running on for like 9 minutes, so I've given up with that. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to be quite clear and quite concise. So I'm working towards at the moment playing Boil Them Cabbage Down. It may sound really simple, but like I said, I've only been playing this for 6 weeks, and that transitioning period between learning some not difficult chords, but when your hands don't like contorting in certain ways, learning those difficult chords. My pinky finger is not very strong. It never has been. I mean, I used to play guitar, as you can see behind me here, and you know, using my pinky on that, I just never took the time to do it. So what I'm doing here is Boil Them Cabbage Down requires an F. Nice little F chord, which is great. Can get that down. Got the fingering of it really well. Really like the way it sounds. Really happy with it. It's not like muffled or anything like that. Like I said, I've been working on it a week already. But what I'm working on now at the moment is the transitions between the C and the F, G7 and the F, G and the F, and that's where it starts getting a little bit funky. And whilst I'm here learning those and taking the time to learn those chord transitions, I'm also just going to give myself a little bit of an extra challenge and throw in the D chord as well. There are D chord variants. You can play it on the 7th fret, so obviously it's a little bit higher up, a little bit higher octave. It's not really an octave, but you know, pitch is higher pitch, because the octave is somewhere down here. Not quite got to that yet. You can play it as a three chord. I think it's there. I'm just doing this as demonstration purposes. I'm not quite sure where the fingering of it is yet. I will update that as I know. But you can also do it as a 4 chord, which isn't sounding fantastic at the moment, but I've only literally the last couple of days been working on that. So I'm like the 2nd day in. So this next week, whilst I'm taking the time to learn the F chord and taking the time to learn that D chord as well, my gut instinct and my logic brain together both tell me do it now, whilst you're taking the time to do it, because cheating a chord just to get through a song down here or doing a power chord, D chord, I'm not learning anything. I can play those, which is great, so I know that when the time comes and it's appropriate to use that power chord or just the 3-point of it, great, I can do that, perfect. What I can't do is play the full D chord. So when it comes to the time when I need to play the full D chord 6 months down the line, I'm then going to have to learn that whole process. So I'm doing it now. It's not in Patrick Costello's book, which is who I'm following currently. He doesn't talk about that. However, once you get past learning Boil Them Cabbage Down, and he starts talking about chord forms, I have skipped ahead in the book just to see what I'm coming up to. The D is one of the basic chords, so I thought, whilst I'm learning the F and a transition between the other chords and the F, I'll learn the D, as I've already said, and at the same time what it's also doing is it's strengthening my pinky finger, because I'm using it, I'm working with it, I'm stretching it, which 6 months later down the line, it's going to be so much easier for me and I'm going to save myself so much time. So working with those and working with the transitions between the chords as well. So it's all good fun. It's keeping my brain going, which I like. I realise I haven't actually played anything apart from a few strums. So I'm still working on the. I like to put my hand up here, you know, even if I'm just playing a G chord, getting used to it. So I'm also doing that as well, working up and down, getting used to some of the strike strum, thumb, or the bum dissy, however you want to say it. Just trying to get my rhythm going with that as well. So it's a full left and right hand, left and right brain learning process. And yeah, so it's a complete submersive, immersive learning thing. I normally play. I've got my banjo without my mute on, so if you're in the UK, I've got it. I don't know if you can see that Eagle Ultimate mute, banjo mute, and it just goes on my bridge here, just sits over it, which then just quiets my banjo a bit. I play in the evening, in the night, and I have neighbours and I have other people in the house as well. So although I love the ring of the banjo, sometimes I play at 2 o'clock in the morning and it's not fun for anybody else. So anyway, yeah, that's where I'm at this week. I just wanted to make a quick little note of it, see how I was getting on. I'm just going to do a quick run through and see how far I get with Red River Valley. I keep challenging myself with it because I still suck with the chord changes at the moment, and hitting the right strike at the right time on the right chord, and the right string is proving not as much a challenge, but taking my concentration. So here we go. So yeah, that was just one quick run through. I had my mute on, so I'll do another run through with my mute off. The more I run through this, it gets either goes really wrong or it goes really good. So we'll have a go and see what happens. So this is a Red River Valley, and it's just G, D7, G, D7, G, C, G, D7, G. That's the chord progression. I'm not sure if I kind of got it in the right rhythm yet, but I'm just learning the chord progressions here, trying to change between them. And actually, I like the way this sounds. Here you go. So there's a few iffy bits in there. I don't get stressed about it. I just know I keep working at it and I will get it. I found an instructional for Red River Valley because I wasn't sure on the chord changes, and Patrick Costello's video is really good, but it just wasn't sinking in, so I went on the search. Found this other chap, I can't remember what his name is off the top of my head, but I'll post it down below so you can have a look at that for yourselves if you're learning that. So he was talking about sort of jazzing up a little bit. That comes later on. I'm nowhere near that yet, but at the time I just thought, let's have a go. So here we go. I've been learning to jazz up the C chord, which is really nice. and it's just a basic hammer-on is all it is. May not seem that fantastic, but I'm really chuffed myself that I learned to do this. So. Just a little something. It was a hammer-on pull-off. I thought I'd have a quick go at that there and then. So that was live. Yeah. So I apply my mute again. And yeah, so I just wanted to upload this and talk about the D and the F chords. Something that made a lot of sense to me. The more I thought about it and things, the more I thought this is time to do this now, rather than faffing around later on. Coming back to it and getting stressed because it's not. I've progressed too far, and then I'm having to take a step backwards basically. And it's a 2-in-1 hit, learning 2 chords, which is great, and strengthening the old little pinky finger, which is something that's got to be done. And you can do fancy things with those hammer-ons, with the F chord, with a D chord. So that's the point in this. It's about learning the banjo. Rather than learning to play the banjo, it's about learning it and learning all those little great things in between. There's so many different styles of the banjo. That banjo playing, what I mean, you got old time banjo, which is, what I'm playing at the moment. But then I'm playing a variant of that, which is the bum ditty variant. It's the so that's strike, strum, thumb. So strike, strum, thumb, strike, strum, thumb. So it's a 1 foot. How does it say? So how does it work out? It's 1, 2, and 3, 4, and is the pattern. So it's 1, 2, and. So that's the strike, strum, thumb. And then you've got the other variant, which is the double thumb, I think it's called, and it's the variant of that is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and so you're striking the string, and then you hit the 5th string with your thumb, and then you strum in, and then you hit with the thumb. So that's that variant. You've got round peak banjo. I do not know how to play that yet, so I'm not going to even try and explain that as a whole different variant. This goes on, and you got 2-finger banjo, 3-finger banjo, all different types of styles, and this is a lifelong journey and one that I'm loving so far. I'm gonna go and go on and do some practice. Thanks for watching.